welcome to Win Over Depression. I am your host, Tamara Trotter. Today, we'll be talking about how your fight against your mental illness must be relentless. You know, a person who is relentless exudes confidence, has a resolve, and is not willing to be swayed by anyone. When someone is relentless, they keep fighting, they do not quit, they never give up. They keep trying, they keep pushing through, and they keep moving forward. A person who is relentless will not take no for an answer because they are determined to win, they are committed to their goals, and they will seek and find the answer. They will research, problem solve, and keep going. When you suffer with a mental illness, you must be relentless. A person who suffers from depression must fight, not give up. Stay committed to your goal. Keep going. Stay determined. Push through and keep moving forward. It really takes a paradigm shift and a mindset change to keep one step ahead of depression. You must always have a game plan in mind, and the number one game plan and key is to be proactive. If you know that most Friday nights you feel depressed, you should plan something fun every Friday night. If you get upset when a certain song comes on the radio, be prepared to change the channel. Unless you decide that you are not going to allow that particular song to affect you in an adverse way. You are really in the fight of your life, for your life, because no one understands how debilitating and life-draining depression can become, except those of us, including myself, who suffer every day. And again, even though I know that I may have mild symptoms every day, I have an arsenal of tools in my toolbox that help me not go down that dark road that leads to an episode of depression. Again, your accountability partner needs to come into play. That is the designated person that you call when you feel that an episode of depression is coming on, or if you are experiencing terrible thoughts, maybe harmful thoughts that you are thinking about acting on. Being relentless means that you are staying ahead of the symptoms and you are constantly coming up with new ways and new techniques to keep moving forward. I cannot stress that enough. There are going to be some down days, but don't look back. Just push to the next day and do something different. Never underestimate your ability to overcome this daily disease. You may suffer from depression. You may be bipolar, or you may have schizophrenia, but this condition does not have to define your existence. I want you to stay encouraged, be relentless, and stay one step ahead of depression. I want to speak for a moment to those of you that are listening, and maybe you're trying to gain some understanding about a loved one that you have, and you're just not understanding their mental illness, and you have decided to listen to this podcast in order to better understand. Well, a person who suffers from depression experiences various moods throughout the day. There are some times when sadness just takes over and all of a sudden deep tears start to stream down. Out of nowhere, you become consumed with the sad emotion that causes you enough pain that those tears well up in your eyes. You are faced with managing the feelings and figuring out how to get past this sad moment. The reality is a depressed mind at times loses control and can become inconsolable. The trigger could be a thought, a song, a memory, a feeling of hopelessness that surfaces, a comment, a text, a phone call, a letter, or nothing at all. It can manifest at a moment's notice and land on that once happy and smiling face. It can appear out of nowhere and turn a good time into an emotional catastrophe. Sometimes the sad state flees quickly, while other times it lingers and opens the door to a dark place. And the goal is always to avoid that dark place. Depression is a mean culprit that tries to grab hold and take up residence in your thoughts. This is why there is a daily struggle that depression tries to win. The thoughts that cross the mind are deceiving and misleading, but can also be repetitive and convincing. It is for this reason that the depressed must guard their heart and be careful upon whom they cast their trust. The sad days will come, but it is imperative that an armor of protection and a strong will to overcome the debilitating thoughts is prepared to fight with all of its might. Some days depression will be defeated, and other days you will have a visit from the dark cloud. But to reduce the number of sad days, it is crucial that your support system knows how to help. Whether it is getting some sun, taking a walk, exercising, listening to uplifting music, a positive phone call, these actions and experiences will break up the episode of depression and get the person back on track. If you have not heard from someone that you know suffers from a mental illness, you need to get in touch with them. Give them a call. Send them a text message. This is oftentimes the opportunity for you to notice that they are in a place where they're not comfortable speaking to anyone and they are alone in their thoughts. People who are depressed need you to be their cheerleader. They need you to be in their corner. Once you decide that you are going to be relentless in this fight, there will be less sad days, and managing the thoughts will become easier and easier. Most of all, stay focused on getting better and getting past the pain. I know that you have the courage to fight this life-changing disease, but you have to believe it in your heart of hearts. Whatever you're experiencing right now, the sadness, the pain, the thoughts that make you want to end your life, all of those thoughts can change, but you have to believe it. You have to keep your head up and every day be more determined than ever to escape the symptoms of depression, knowing that even though sometimes depression will get the best of you, there is always the next day, the next week, and the next month. So I encourage you to go back to other episodes that I've published on this podcast, and you will find many ways to help you in this struggle. I believe in you. I want you to believe in yourself. And I want you to remember that giving up is never an option, and you must stay in the game of life, my friend. I never want to end my podcast without thanking you so very much for listening. Without you, my committed fans, I cannot be growing as fast as I am. I encourage you to go to my website, winoverdepression.org. There are hundreds of pieces of information just for you to help you get through this painful time. Because maybe it's a situational depression that you're experiencing, and you just need to know how to navigate through it. You can find me on Twitter at Tamara Trotter. You can also find me on Pinterest at TT Mental Health Expert. Please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing my YouTube channel, also called Win Over Depression. You must continue to believe that you are enough and that you can overcome the symptoms and the circumstances that have caused a mental illness to come into your life.